How does a 5-year-old disappear in 2019 and we're just learning about it this week? I mean, what happened to Harmony Montgomery, and how on earth do her parents justify pointing fingers at each other saying that they thought the other person had her? It's been 2 years, and police have now arrested her father for assault and her stepmother for welfare fraud. What's going on in Manchester? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Profiling Evil on Court TV. I hope that you'll take a moment, hit that like and the subscribe button, and ring the bell so that you're getting all of the notifications on videos we produce. Tonight, I had the opportunity to talk with Vinnie Politan about a missing 5-year-old girl named Harmony Montgomery. In reality, she's 7 years old right now. That's right, she disappeared 2 years ago and nobody seemed to care enough to report her missing. Is she dead? And if so, who's responsible? Now, you can watch my complete interview along with a timeline of the events on Court TV. But here are the most important points of this case, starting way back in 2014 when Harmony was only 4 months old. Her father, Adam Montgomery, back then pleads guilty to armed robbery charges where he reportedly shot a man in the head. Now, here's the scary part. He was sentenced to jail for 18 months. 18 months for an aggravated robbery where the victim was shot in the head. I haven't seen the case and been able to explore it. This is only what I'm seeing reported online. Now, by July of 2018, that's just a couple of years later, Harmony's mother loses control of the child as she faces her own substance abuse addictions. The child then begins bouncing in and out of foster care. Think of this poor little kid and her siblings. This is a huge red flag to me because family services, social workers, had to have been aware of everything going on in this child's life way back then. They knew that that child was at risk, but somehow the court determined just a short time later that Adam would be the one to care for the child, and they awarded him custody. Things didn't improve in the lives of the parents, and Crystal Sorey, Harmony's mother, reported that she kind of has on and off contact, FaceTiming her daughter in 2019, April, around Easter time. And she says it's the last time she heard from her child or talked to her. That's more than 2 years, folks. She had no other contact with the child, even though she tells investigators that her daughter seemed frightened during the video chat. The answer to why the child was frightened becomes a lot clearer to us now, because 3 months later, Adam Montgomery, the child's father, allegedly punches the child in the face, leaving a black eye. We start seeing some of the dynamics in the family. Now, keep in mind that Harmony is already visually impaired and blind in one eye. Police didn't learn about this until last week when they interviewed a relative of Adam who apparently shared the information. And this is equally troubling. Apparently, at least 2 other family members knew about the assault and the black eye. This is just absolutely unacceptable. It's against the law to not report child abuse. Police were told by another family member that Adam had confessed to that person that he had bashed her around the house. He explained that he left Harmony in charge of babysitting her 3 younger siblings, and when he returned, he found that she was holding her hand over the child's mouth to muffle the sound of the child's crying. She was scared of what her dad was going to do. 5 years old, tending younger children. This is what prompted the beating, according to Adam. By November, Adam's telling his new wife, Kayla, that Harmony has gone to live with her mother, Crystal, sometime around Thanksgiving in 2019. Well, now, according to new arrest records on Kayla Montgomery, she apparently continued to request for welfare assistance, naming Harmony as the recipient, knowing the child had been missing for more than 2 years. Listen as Vinnie Politan and I talk about this interesting dynamic.
Mike King, how about this latest development now? You've got Stepmom now under arrest for charges that are related to Harmony, not the most serious of charges, but come on, what's going on here?
Police scrutiny finally is focusing in on her, and as they look at her and her background, they're discovering this public assistance fraud that's been going on. Some people may argue $1,500 isn't a lot of money. It's the process of taking that money, knowing that the child is not in her house, and according to what she's testified to, or at least what we hear publicly, that she hasn't seen her for that year and a half. Now, it might be that law enforcement is just trying to turn the screws down a little tighter on her in hopes that she'll come forward and share what she really knows about this child. But how on earth does a 5-year-old child completely go under the radar? I can live with the fact that she's not in school. Maybe they never put her in a preschool, so she wouldn't be on the public school system's radar. But if she's getting public assistance, why isn't the Division of Family Services aware of this child? Why aren't grandparents calling in? If the parents are not putting forth enough effort to validate that this child's in one person's custody or the other. The whole thing is so irritating, Vinny, because this beautiful little child is now gone from anyone's understanding of where she could be. 2 years is an awfully long time to be hopeful. Vinny went on to ask about what people should do in situations like this where they're concerned for a child's welfare. I thought of a conversation I had just yesterday with another YouTube creator about some concerns that YouTube creator had about a child in their neighborhood. Since I don't have the permission from the creator to share their name, I'm simply going to play my response to Vinny when he asked that very question.
I mean, I'd do a little more investigation. I don't know about you, Mike. I think you would too.
I received an interesting phone call yesterday from a woman who just said, I have not seen a child in my neighborhood for about 4 weeks now. What should I do? I really feel like I need to call police, and which was the exact right answer. Is there needed to be a welfare check. And I'm thinking, okay, so it's been since 2019. This child lived in your home, was part of your family. You know that there's drug addiction problems. According to testimony that we're hearing through social media, that there was physical violence and child abuse in that home. There certainly is child neglect in that home on both mom and dad's part. Why on earth wasn't somebody making phone calls? I keep going back to all these huge red flags that we're now getting the benefit of seeing. And I can sense and I almost feel like I'm reflecting the frustration, almost anger that police chief was sharing when he's saying, this is out of the line. This is beyond understandable. This child needs to be found.
Yeah, that chief, there was anger, frustration, and there was some raw emotion in there as well. I mean, big tough guy, but he's feeling it. He wants to solve this. He wants to find her alive.
Now, even though I've talked about the timeline in this case already, I wanted to jump back into the segment where Vinny lays it out real quickly. Let's watch this.
We've been able to get our hands on some of the documents related to this case, and we've put together a timeline trying to piece together what happened here, what happened to Harmony. We begin July 2018, where Crystal Sorey, who is Harmony's mom, loses custody as she begins to deal with substance abuse issues. February 22nd of 2019, Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, is awarded custody. In April, this is the last time that Crystal says that she saw Harmony. It's Easter, and I believe it was a FaceTime call that she said happened. July of 2019 is when Adam, he's now arrested for this, allegedly punches Harmony in the face because Adam put Harmony, a 5-year-old girl, in charge of the rest of the kids, who are all younger. And one of the kids was crying, and Harmony, as a 5-year-old, put her hand over the child's mouth to try to keep the child from crying. And Adam allegedly comes out and punches her in the face because of that. That's what this little girl was dealing with. November of 2019, the father alleges that he gave Harmony to her mother around Thanksgiving. Two stories there, though. One that he gives to police and one that he gives to his wife. His wife, he said he was driving to drop her off. Police, he said that Crystal came and picked up Harmony. December 27th, Child Services notifies police that Harmony is missing. January 4th, Adam Montgomery is arrested for that 2019 black eye. And the 5th, Adam's now estranged wife, Kayla Montgomery, is arrested for alleged welfare fraud. So that's how we got to where we are in this case. Mike King, Erica Moore still with us. Mike, there's this huge gap. The huge gap is from November of 2019 to 2021. It's 2 years. This child didn't have a chance being in that world. I mean, when you think of, for most children, most worlds, when you go missing for a while, there's someone who's, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? But for this child, there wasn't that person in the circle of adults. In the case of the Doomsday mom, Lori Valadebo, that's how it started, because Grandma and Grandpa were like, hey, where's JJ? Where's JJ? And then the case started. Here, there was no one for 2 years, Mike.
Yeah, certainly not casting stones because we don't know the family dynamic, but holy cow. I mean, here is a child that has disappeared off the face of the map. Probably Montgomery's children are too young at that time, if the 5-year-old's in charge of them, to be able to give much information that's of value. So that's a real challenge for law enforcement, is that they don't pose much benefit as witnesses. The timeline of when she leaves the home is really distressing. And the fact that mom and dad both are going on for 2 years without reporting to each other or demanding to see this child if they really do believe that the other spouse has them. What about grandparents? Why are grandparents not stepping up? And again, without knowing the family dynamic, we certainly don't want to cast stones other than to ask the question of why. Or neighbors, did they stay in the same location until Montgomery separates from Harmony's dad? And if so, did neighbors see anything? So there's a lot of boots on the ground work that needs to be done. And absolutely, we have to start considering the possibility of where we could search that is the most probable spots to start, and start with the lowest hanging fruit and start chipping away at this thing. Again, I mean, kudos that finally someone in public assistance demanded to know more about this child, because this thing could have gone on for another 2 years. In June of this year, Harmony is going to celebrate her 8th birthday. Let's hope that police have solved this horrible case long before that day arrives. And while it's less likely, let's also hope that this child is recovered and that she's in a safe home where she can celebrate that birthday. Folks, if you know anything about this case, please reach out to the Manchester Police Department immediately at 603-203-6060. A reward of $12,500 is already in place thanks to 2 businesses and the Manchester Crime Line. So what do you think happened in this case, and why is it taking so long for it to come to the attention of police? I'm going to be looking for your answers down below, and I want to thank you in advance for taking time to submit your thoughts. Remember, you can watch this entire interview on Court TV. I want to thank Vinnie Politan and the Court TV team for inviting me to comment on this case and other criminal cases. It's really an honor. And again, I hope you'll take a moment, hit that like and the subscribe button, and ring the bell so that you're getting all of the notifications on our videos like this one. Remember, you can find Profiling Evil on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you like podcasts, make sure you're searching for Profiling Evil on your favorite podcast platform, especially with Season 2 kicking off this month on Cults Among Us. And if you're looking for an easy way to support our efforts here at Profiling Evil, consider joining one of our channel membership levels. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon at the next crime scene.